what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Today we are going to do the advent of cyber. Now, I usually do this every year, but I've done it different every single year, and so this year I'm going to try to do them just like in bulk. So I'm going to try and knock them out, because what I've realized is it's really annoying to make a very short video every single day. It's much easier to put them all together, and it probably helps you guys out because you probably want to knock a bunch out at once rather than every single day hop on and do a 10-minute thing. So we're going to go ahead and hop into it. I am skipping when you first do it, there's like an intro box. I'm skipping that on purpose because I want you guys to actually go through it. I think it's useful for someone that's never done this. I don't think it's very useful for anyone that has. I think it's just kind of quick and easy, useful, or a waste of time, but that's all right. It's good for the people that use it, right? My camera is probably going to shift around during the videos because I want to try to keep it out of the way, but I still want you guys to be able to see so I can explain things the best of my ability. So first things first, I'm not going to read the story this year. I think the stories are kind of silly. I get it. It might, bring some interest in, but every year it's the same kind of thing. And so it's just not really my thing. So I'm not going to read the stories. First things to note, really, really useful is this right here. At the beginning of every day, make sure you're looking at this. Do I need to start my attack box? Do I need a VM, etc.? The reason for that is because you'll know before you start this, turn my attack box on, because otherwise you're going to be here waiting for a while, right? I usually use Exegol. I'm going to use the attack box just because that's what you guys are going to be able to use. I still will use Exegol on most of my TryHackMe stuff, but this one specifically, I'm going to use the attack box because a lot of times they have like task files in there that you can just download, and it's just easier. So we'll just do it that way. All right, so now that we're getting ready to go, hopefully you guys like the video. Hopefully you guys subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe at this point. Check out the Patreon. I have a newsletter that goes out. It's usually weekly with the holidays. I've stopped doing it weekly on purpose because I want to give everyone time to spend with their families. I think I'm a big believer in like kind of disconnecting and getting offline for a while, especially in this field. So if you guys haven't subscribed, please do. If you guys like the video, like the video. If you guys have not gone ahead and checked out the Patreon or the Discord, check them out. There's more content. There's a ton of content and a lot of help. So let's get started. First things first, credentials only need if you're using your own TryHackMe VPN connected machines. So username, password, IP. Okay, so you would need to connect through SSH. Okay, we're not doing that. Okay, working with the Linux client. So this looks like a lot of this is going to be just working with the Linux client. I'm not going to read this to you. I'm just not. I'll tell you guys, if you're interested in working through the Linux client, by all means, take the Linux fundamentals. I have a Linux, Hack the Box Linux fundamentals. That's a great video. I think they did a really good job of the Linux fundamentals. It's a very long video, long form with all the stuff you need. This is not going to like make you a Linux expert. It's just going to show you how to get around. So we're going to go ahead and just knock out the actual task, right? So first things first, if you want to read the story, awesome. Read it, go for it, whatever. They've added this since last time I did a TryHackMe video, which is it says complete on the machine, so they actually have it checking on the machine already, which is kind of cool. It's kind of interesting, and I'm not sure how it works fully as far as like if it's accurate all the time or if it needs some work or whatever. I haven't ran into any issues with it yet, but we'll go ahead and get into it. So very first question, which CLI command would you use to list a directory? This is just a basic what command lists directories in Linux, and that's ls. So when you do that, you will see, and we'll do it here in a second, you get this on the machine, complete on machine. It automatically fills this for you. You don't have to copy paste the flag, which I like. And it says, which command helped you filter the logs for failed logins? And you'll see there's a guide in here, quote unquote. It's more like it, long story short, for me, in my opinion, I don't really like the guide in this. I know I nitpick these things. It's because I'm a constant person that believes feedback and improvement and criticism is good. I really think that's important, that you just keep improving. But I think the guide is really silly. The reason I say it's silly is because they're walking you through the steps. If you read this, I mean, word for word, they're walking you through the steps. So the guide doesn't need to be there. I think the guide would make sense if there were no steps and you were trying to like lead them in the right direction, like a real CTF. I think that's what the guide would be for. So You can follow the guide if you want, but you'll see. We'll go ahead and say ls, and when we do that, this would autocomplete. At least I believe so. And then from here, we're going to go into guides. So we're going to say cd guides, ls. There's nothing there, so we'll say ls tac la, and then and ls tac la just shows everything. Of course, I said I'm going to move my camera to make it not in the way, and I made it right in the way. So we'll go ahead and say cat guide.text, and you can see there's where you get the actual flag. So, and it, like I said, I didn't have to copy and paste it. It'll autofill. And this is your guide, right? I think King Malhare from Hopsec Island is preparing for an attack. Not sure what his goal is, but exploits on your server are not good. Be ready to protect Christmas. It says check var log and grep inside. Let the logs become your guide. So they're already giving you the details. You can see which command helps you filter the log for failed logins. Well, we're just going to cat the var log. By the way, you can't tat autocomplete, so auth.log, and then we'll say grep, and we'll say failed. We'll just leave it at failed. Now, you can see a lot of people are. I already know. I get the comments all the time. How would you even know that, right? Like, I get it. You guys want me to explain it, and so I'm going to, but understand that there's certain things that just come with time and experience. So understand that I'm not, and I'm going to move this over here. I think maybe this is the best place for now. We'll see. But there's certain things that just come with time and experience. And what I mean by that is like knowing that auth.log in var logs is going to be your authentication logs is just something that people know that have worked in the industry for a while or worked on Linux for a while. So it's not like this is something that's amazing or someone had to be like, there's no way you would know that or anything like that. And I understand sometimes I skip over that stuff, so I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying to just explain that that's just a common place to check for authorization logs. So when they said failed logins, it just tells me directly that it's probably in the auth log. I used grep, which searches for the failed, and I used the failed word. And you can see there's a bunch of failed passwords for Sockmas from Eggbox, whatever. Which command helps you filter it? That's it. And then it says complete on machine. This comes with the next one, the next step. I will say this one here, the next step, I had to go up and read this because I was like, what's the next step? I found these failed passwords. They're not really connected. At least, I mean, I didn't read the story, so maybe they are, but it did make a lot of sense that they had you find these auth logs, and then the next task just says complete on machine. I wish they would say, instead of complete on machine, it would say like, where is the exploit or something like that, because that's what they're asking you for is the exploit. That's what the next flag is. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to go back home, cd, and so we're back in our home directory, and you can see right here they show you this. If you scroll up, you'll see find home Sockmas. So they're saying basically the Sockmas account, I'm assuming you eventually got a successful login. I don't know that because I didn't filter out the successes, but I'm assuming they failed enough times, then got a successful login. So check the Sockmas folder, and you can see what you could do is do find home exactly like they did. I'm not even going to do that because they're kind of guiding you there. So I would say home, go to the Sockmas folder, and you can see there's a 2025. And you can see right there, there's an eggstrike.sh. So eggstrike.sh is probably our dangerous file. Here, you can search for it if you want to, but they lead you right to it. The hint in the actual guide is kind of leads you to it. There's like another hint that says something about basically like look for eggs and blah blah. So they really guide you right to it. And so once you do this, you'll cat the egg strike. And you can see right there, your flag is blah, 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 right? And you can see they're catting the wishlist.txt, they're sorting it, and they're getting all unique entries, dumping it into a dump.txt, and removing the wishlist.txt and echo Christmas is fading, and move eastmiss.txt. Okay, gotcha. And Eastmas is invading. So they're basically taking Santa's wish list, right? And deleting it and putting in a replacement. So now, which command would you run to switch to user? Sudo su would be, which is sudo for elevated privileges, and su for switch user. And then I actually would do attack. That actually basically inherits the entire environment. You don't have to do that. So if you ever see me do that, that's all it is. You don't have to worry about it. And you do sudo su. Now I'm root. And you notice, like, if I type in present working directory, I'm in the /root directory. If you didn't do sudo su with attack, you would be in the directory you came from because you're still in the same environment. I actually basically started a shell, if you will, theoretically, with my root account. Whoops, excuse me. So now what we'll do is finally what flag did sir caret bane leave in the root bash history. So you just type history, and if you look, there is a flag right here, until we meet again. There you go. And you just put until we meet again. So for those who consider themselves intermediate when want another challenge, here's the side quest. I don't do the side quest on the videos because I just don't have the time to do videos for the regular AOC and the side quest, but there is the side quest if you want it. Enjoyed investigating Linux? Check out our Linux log investigations room. I'll be honest with you, I don't know why. I think this is more of a Linux fundamentals than a Linux log investigation, but that's fine. I think they could have pointed that to the Linux fundamentals, but that's all right. That's the first challenge, guys. Let's go ahead and go to the second one. All right, welcome back. On our way to fishing, Mary Clickmiss, 25% done, I guess. So this one, we're going to showcase how to do phishing. They're just going to have you use set, which is social engineering toolkit. You can see I actually have the attack machine here. And then I have my target machine. So if I go, I need to make sure I can get this back from split screen. Yeah, I did that. Okay. Not sure why the split screen is gone. Hopefully I can get that back here. They've changed this a little bit from the way it used to be, so. Okay, we'll just terminate it and then restart the machine as we go through it because I'm not sure how to gain it back once I've done that. So here, we'll go to day 2. You see, do I need to start the attack box? Yes. Do I need a VM today? Yes. So I do need to start my attack box. I probably could have went here and done it, and that's all right. So we'll let that load as we go through it. So anyone that's never used set, which is set toolkit, social engineering toolkit, that's all it is. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to understand that when phishing comes, it's obviously fake, but here's how they're going to grab your credentials. They're going to create a captive portal, something that draws you in, right? Something that seems legitimate, a Facebook login, a whatever login, right? And they're going to use that to get you to type in your password. This is actually one of my favorite. I mean, this is only day 2 that we're on, but last year I didn't see them do this. At least I didn't get to this point because I didn't finish it last year, but I didn't see them doing stuff like this where like you're actually seeing realistically interaction. I think that's important because that's one of the things CTFs lack a lot of times is like usually you're doing something, but yeah, it might be realistic, but like how do you do a cross-site scripting without having someone interact with it, right? So like stuff like that where you actually have to have a user interact, you can automate that, and that's what they did here, and I think it's good. So first thing they're going to do is have us download these task files. For us on the attack box, it's actually in this room's AOC day 2. I'm glad that they put that in there, but basically what we're going to do is run a listener, which is our website, our fake portal, right? And we're going to showcase what that looks like. It just looks like a basic login page, right? We're going to run this, and when that runs, it will capture everything that happens. So if someone tries to log in, it captures it, right? And so that's what we're going to do. And then we're going to send them a phishing email, and they're going to, I'm assuming, put in their credentials, right? So once we get in here, all right, there we go. I know this is small, I'll make it bigger. Okay, there we go. Okay, so quickly, we should be able to, there we go, say, where are we? We're in root, so we'll go rooms, nope. Okay, I don't know. said it's in rooms, but let me see. Okay, there we go. I just didn't have the capital. AOC 2025, and then day 02. And there should be a server.py. We're just going to, and of course I'm blocking it. Again, trying to keep my camera out of the way, so it's going to move around a lot. I apologize for that, but it's better than just blocking it like I usually do. So we're just going to run this server.py. And you can see it's running. Now, if we go here to our web browser, and I'll just make this full screen for you guys so that you don't have to stare at it. Switch over. The other box was still running. So, okay, so now we've got our, thank you, I guess. Okay, so we've got our server running. You can see here, these run very slow, I understand. We can say 127.0.0.1, which points us to our normal local host, to ourselves, and we say port 8000, that's where we're hosting it. We can see logs are coming in now, and if we put username and password, it will grab it. So that's what the portal is going to look like. That's what they're going to see when we're done with this. So we'll go ahead and say open tab. All right, we want to make this big for you guys. And we're going to go through set toolkit, and we're going to run set toolkit. We're going to say we want social engineering attacks, spear phishing attacks, and then email in a single attack. So we'll say set toolkit. You'll see it'll load up. We want social engineering attacks, spear phishing, and then perform a mass email or create. We want to perform a mass email attack. All right. Let's see. And let's see what they want us to do. So email. I might have chose the wrong one. Let's see. Mass email. Oh, they did 5. So mass mailer. Okay, we'll just close that out. Okay, so we'll say social engineering attack. They did mass mailer, which is 5. And then email attack, single email address. Okay, send email to. This is where we got to get the settings from here. So we're going to send the email to factory@wareville.thm. Factory@wareville. Use your own relay server to. From address, we're going to say updates@flyingdeer.thm. And if you guys have never used set, yes, this is a real tool, and yes, it is pretty easy. The from name the user will see. Keep in mind, also, we'll use the name Flying Deer. When you spoof emails and stuff like that, keep in mind it is detectable. So you can find it. So if you think that like you're going to learn something on this and just like go start spamming people, you're going to get busted doing it. Username for open relay. We'll leave it blank. SMTP server address. Let's see, what do they got? They've got this SMTP server. Perfect. So that we actually don't have to. Port number should be 25, I think. Yep. Flag this message as high priority. Let's see. I'm assuming they're going to say. Okay, they're going to say no, which is fine. Do you want to attach a file? I don't believe so. Nope. Do you want to attach an inline file? No. Email subject. Okay, this is where we got to get crafty, right? We're just going to do exactly what they say, shipping schedule changes, because that's probably what will work. Send the messages HTML or plain. We will keep the default choice. Okay, plain text. Enter the body of the message. Okay. And type end, capitals when finished. Create and type the convincing message. And then make sure to check this. I don't remember ever putting. Oh, they might have already put that in there. Perfect. Okay. So now we're going to put the message. Good afternoon. I wanted to inform you of some schedule changes that will impact you greatly. please log in to your portal to ensure you don't get behind on the big day. Right? Doesn't really matter what you put. I'm assuming they're just gonna agree to it, whatever. Let's see. Yeah. We need to put this in there so that people. I'm hoping that's the right address, right? Then we'll just put it in here. There you go. There's your portal. And then should be good. And then type thank you end. Okay, says finish sending the emails. So we should go over here and start to see that whenever that happens. Press enter to return. Now, if we did it correctly, right, hopefully we start to see a response. Keyword is hopefully. Now the phishing email has been sent. Just hit the bar to restart to open the terminal where our server is running to see if the user gets trapped. You may have to wait 1 to 2 minutes and observe the terminal for any credentials. Yeah, that makes sense. So we're going to sit here and basically wait for these credentials to come in. What happens is, how's this look? The user gets the email, right? The email we just sent out, as long as I didn't make a mistake, which I could have. And they would then get the email, go, oh, and we got to fix this. They would go to this portal, and they would type in their credentials. When they type in their username and credentials, sign in. Usually it will actually reroute them to the real website, and to their knowledge, it'll look like, oh, it just didn't log me in or something. They wouldn't really know what's going on. It doesn't look out of the ordinary or anything like that. And then it would send you the credentials. So we'll see if we get the credentials. If we don't, we can go back through and check where I made a mistake. Let's see. No, 25. I'm hoping it actually updated. 8667. Okay. I'm hoping it actually. I'm going to assume it actually updated these because that is the IP that they're saying my stuff is. So hopefully it worked. We'll see. All right. Please confirm the new schedule by visiting. Yep, we did that. Best regards, Flying Deer. I didn't even think about signing it. Doesn't really matter. I wonder if it even matters what email you send it from or anything like that. We'll see. Worst case, I can go back through and do it again. Let's see. Okay, came back about a minute later, and you can see we actually caught him. It was username admin, password unranked wisdom anthem. So pretty quick. Took about a minute or two. And so what was the password used to access? And it was unranked wisdom anthem. There you go. Browse to from within the attack box and try to access the mailbox. Okay, not sure why I can't copy that, but all right. Mailbox of the factory user to see if the previously hard admin password has been reused on the email portal. So this is actually a very common technique, right? Password reuse. So we go here, we say, let's see if this works, right? Maybe they reuse their password on this portal as well. And guess what? I'm assuming unranked wisdom anthem. Not now. And if I type the password right, which I might not have, let's see. Unranked wisdom. I don't know why that's really annoying. I hate that. Okay. What is the total number of toys expected for delivery? So it is supposed to work. I'm just messing it up. So let's copy that. Just admin. At least I would imagine it's going to work. Login failed. Okay. Okay. Try to access the mailbox of the factory user. Okay, who's the factory user? Maybe that's why. Maybe we need the factory user, right? Okay, so they want us to actually just use factory. Not sure if it might be part of the story. I missed that factory user. Yeah, it was part of the story. I missed the factory user. Or it's actually part of who we sent it to, right? Did we send it to? Yeah, we sent it to factory at Wareville. So I'm sure somewhere in the story they explained where that came from. I don't know. I didn't read it. So now what do we got to do? What is the total number of toys expected for delivery? Total number of toys. That's ours. Give me total number of toys. Where are they at? Holy cow. Okay, they just sent it again, so it must just be a repeating thing. Must be a scheduled task. All right, so let's see. I really don't want to read through this entire thing. They made this a pain in the butt. Let's see. Okay, urgent production shipping request. Oh, 1,000. They did not make it a pain in the butt. I apologize. That was my fault. There you go. So you figured out how to fish. Yeah, thanks. I don't care about the tickets. I don't care about Echo analyzing me. All right. Let's go to number 3. Okay. Splunk basics, right? I also think I appreciate what they're trying to do with the content creators, like having the walkthroughs and stuff. I wish they didn't make it so gimmicky because it makes me not believe. Like, I know Mad Hat is good. I know they have Ryan Montgomery and John Hammond and some of these like really big names, and I appreciate that. But when you do gimmicky shit, it just makes me feel like you're playing a game and you're tailoring it to a child, and maybe that is most of their audience. I don't know. I don't like that personally. I wish it was done more professionally. So I felt like if I owned a business, I wouldn't look at TryHackMe and be like, this is professional level training. I would look at it as this is kind of like fun games to get you into hacking, and that's based on their marketing, not based on like what the actual content is. Okay, so what are we doing today? What are we doing? Everything's running smooth until the SOC dashboard flashes red. Okay, so we're working on the sim today. It looks like. Do I need to start a VM? I do. Do I need an attack box? I don't. Okay, so we'll leave that up. We'll start this bad boy. We could terminate this and this. Terminate both. Start that bad boy. Okay. So we should be good. Now, in the Splunk instance, data has been pre-ingested for us to investigate. So we're just going to investigate, it looks like, right? So once we get, let's go down here. Once it starts up, okay. I was hoping it would start up so I could access it, but it's starting in 39 seconds. Okay. So they're going to walk you through basics, right? Searching and reporting. When you go through the searching and reporting, on the next page, type index equals main in the search bar to show all logs. So index equals main is just going to show you everything. You can see they're going to go all time. So everything. I don't know what the time frame is. After running the query, we will be presented with 2 separate data sets that have been pre-ingested. So it looks like we really only have 2 sets of logs, web traffic and firewall logs. And we can see that with source types. So now we can actually select them. Initial triage, start a basic search across the index using your custom source type. So we're just going to use web traffic. Doesn't look like we're using firewall logs. Let's see if we can actually access this now. Let's see. Where's the, I want to get this baby where I can click on it. Okay, it's on. There we go. Okay. So let's go ahead, get logged in here. Okay. And we're just going to start looking at it, right? So Search query, this query retrieve. Okay, so they're showing us the interface. The search query, that's where you search stuff, right? Obviously. And in this case, they're just using web traffic. I don't know why this is taking so long to log in, but time range, we're going to set it to all time. We would tighten that down as the investigation goes. Timeline, okay. The timeline just shows like where it's busy, where it's not. For selected fields, that's the ones that you're actually looking at. If the interesting fields, those are ones you can select, and then it will add them to the logs if you want. And then event detail and field extraction, this is like the actual information from it. Okay, so search and reporting, we'll just do index equals main, and we'll just leave it at that. We got to change this to all time. Should be good. There you go. We've got everything. You can see here's all of your logs. Here's all everything. We've got our host. So you have host, source, and source type. Those are the only selected fields. So when I go to like this, right, we see the host, source, source type. Those are the only things selected. Nothing else is selected. So host, source, source type. That's all it's going to show. If you want to see more, you've got to select all these, right? Pretty easy, pretty basic stuff. What are we trying to do here? Okay, so was the attacker IP found attacking and compromising the web server? Okay, so we're just gonna have to follow what they're doing because we know nothing about the environment or anything going on. So let's see. Search query, index main, source type web traffic, time chart, span, ID count. So they want to track the total events over time. Okay, so we'll just copy that. Come on, there we go. We'll just copy it, and you'll see we get the statistics of kind of the time, and then here's the count on the side. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's kind of small, but basically that's how many logs per time frame, which in this case is days. The above results are showing the event logs captured per day. So we can do that's just a different way to visualize it. That's descending order, same thing, just different order. You can see if we look at this, as we scroll down, you can see the first one here, or the one that really stands out is the 2012 or the 2,267 logs. It looks like these 3 days were very active and the other days were just eh. So now that we have examined the days with abnormal logs using the table and the graphs, let's use the same search query to examine the various fields. To examine various fields to hunt for suspicious values, we need to go back to the events tab to continue. Okay, so where are we looking at here? Okay, so there looks like they're adding user agent to analyze it. So we'll go back, and they're going to the events tab, which whatever. Let's say events, and then we'll add user agent. Looks like we have 3,160 Firefox, and then there's a 510 Python SQL map, which obviously SQL map is a tool to map out SQL, so it wouldn't make sense to be using that normally. Javi 993, it's a SQL injection, so we're already starting to see the attack probably occur here. Okay, upon closer examination, it becomes clear that apart from the legitimate users, we're receiving a large number of suspicious ones. The second field we'll examine is the client IP. So we need to go look at the client IP, right? And we'll say client IP. Close that. Look at this. And you can see, well, we've got one IP hitting 7,000 times, and the rest are hitting 3 times. So pretty substantial, right? So let's see if it asks us a question. What was the attacker IP found attacking commerce? Let's see if the only reason I want to see if that is the IP that the attacker was using is because they blocked it out in the log or in the screenshots, and it's weird that they blocked it. Okay, so and sometimes, honestly, guys, with CTFs, that is the mindset going into it, is like, okay, do I know that that's an attacker IP as of right now? Not necessarily, but based on the number, I can guess. And then also based on the fact that they literally blocked out the IP so you can't see it, made it very clear that that's what we're looking for. So which day was the peak traffic? And if we go back, it looks like peak traffic was let's see, 2267, 2025, 10 to 12. Was the count of Javi user agents? And we'll go back to events. We'll go to user agent. Javi 993. How many path traversal attempts to access sensitive files on the server were observed? All right, so this one we'll have to actually change the log a little bit. Let's see, ransomware staging, exfiltration attempts. Let's see, because we know they used the SQL injection. Okay, yeah. So source type, and I knew they would have one for us, a search. So basically, if you look at this, source type is web traffic. User agent is not Mozilla, not Chrome, not Safari, not whatever, right? We want to see everything that isn't. And you can see the only thing coming is that. So there's 7,800 of them. Perfect. So that gave us kind of everything to work with to start with, right? So we'll now focus on the selected attacker IP to trace their steps. Yep, that makes sense. Don't forget to replace redacted with the IP. Was there a redacted somewhere? Oh, they actually redacted it here. Okay, I didn't realize they redacted it. That's interesting. I mean, it makes sense. I'm just saying it was interesting. Okay, so let's try to do this, but change redacted to 198.51.100.55. And this should be the same for you guys because they're using stale data probably. So this should pretty much be the same for you. When I say stale data, I mean it's just data that's already been ingested. So, okay, so now we've got all the different paths they're hitting. And we should see, if you look, we'll start searching for the initial probing of exposed configurations. The result, attacker used low-level tools like curl. Yeah, we knew that already. We saw that. Search for common path traversal techniques. And you can see here, here's the path traversal query that they're using. If you don't know path traversal, you'll see it here. Let's see. Hopefully, I don't remember the IP. What was the IP? This events. The IP was 198. There it is. 198. Maybe 198.51.100.55. And we should start to see maybe if I did it correctly. There we go. Okay, and so we actually have 1,291 events here. So I think that's what it asked, right? It said how many path traversal was there? 1,291. Okay, so that's not accurate. How many path traversal attempts across? Oh, for sensitive data. Okay, so we missed that part. So let's see. Well, we're already past that. There's the common path traversal, and you can see here. If you're wondering what path traversal is, you can see they're like trying to access like Etsy password or anything, something they shouldn't be accessing, right? They're basically trying to take the path and append it to access data on the server. You can see the output shows the resources the attacker is trying to access. In this case, they're not showing it, but I'm not sure why they're not. Oh, they're just not showing that IP. But you can see download file. They're trying to see if they can change that to what they want. So now we're going to go ahead and say, hey, let's see, count these babies out for anything with this path involved, which is their method of bypassing here. 5,155. So 198, 51, 155. And I got to do 198. I don't know. I just didn't hit it or what. And it looks like there's 633. And then there is, now that's a redirect. So it looks like 658. So 658. And the way I knew that is just because this is a redirect, this is a file. So here they're trying to see if they can access a remote file inclusion. This is a local file inclusion. Examine the firewall logs. How many bytes were transferred to the C2 server from the compromised web server? So as you can see, we're tracing now that, hey, they were able to, you'd have to go through the actual logs and look, which is the point. But, I, not to say I'm already know this, but I already know how to do this. So I'm not going to like literally dig in the logs and investigate, but, you're basically trying to figure out, okay, now they basically did local file inclusion to do something, right? I don't know yet what they did, but they were able to, um, sounds like bypass that. Let's see. So we're past this. We did that. Past this. We did that. We did that. Oh, hell, they actually gave you the exact thing there. Okay. So reveals that showing the attacker move beyond simple scanning to active vulnerability scanning or testing. Find the automated attacking tool, which we already knew is SQL map, because we saw it. So we'll just say, we'll just say this. Whoops. And what we're looking for is, at this point, they're using SQL map. So SQL map's an automated tool. So we're going to see a ton of logs here, right? Should. I wish they didn't redact this every single time once you turned it in, right? In my opinion, but okay, so did I get that backwards? It's not 100. Did I get it backwards? Is it 55 or is what's going on here? Maybe it's 55, 51. Nope, I didn't get that back. 51, 55. I thought I had that right. Okay, well, guess I got that wrong. Oh, I did it again. What is going on with that? With me? Okay, so you can see here, this is what you'd expect to see with something like SQL map, right? Is you're seeing the sleep, you're seeing the %20 and, so they're URL encoding, they're doing all this different stuff to try to bypass it, test equals all that stuff, right? So confirms that SQL injection and specific attack strings like sleep. Here's the thing, in my opinion, right? You're looking for this 504 code that often confirms it's successful. That's fine. The reality is, if you see SQL map in your environment and it's not authorized, or you didn't approve it, it's an attacker. At the end of the day, that's all there is to it. Nobody's using SQL map for nice reasons if they aren't authorized. Okay, so now let's look at exfiltration attempts, and this is where you're gonna basically look at, hey, did you try to grab anything, right? So web traffic client, your IP, and then in the path, is there a file called, in this case, they're only searching for backups.zip, logs.tar, anything like that. You would normally be looking for whatever data is relevant to you. So if you're, have PCI data or something like that, you're going to be looking for that, et cetera, et cetera. So 51.100.55. All right, there we go. And so you can see, looks like they've got the logs, tar, zip. So the results indicate the attacker was exfilling large chunks. Yep. And you can see they're using curl, zgrab, wget, all that stuff. Indicate the attacker is gathering data for double extortion in the logs we identify. If you guys don't know what double extortion is, basically they extort you twice, right? Like, hey, we have your data, give it to us. We're going to release your data, give it to us, whatever. In the logs, we identified some requests related to bunny lock and shell. Let's use the following query to see what those queries were about. So they found bunnylock.bin and shell.php. Okay, and then you'll see, I'm not even going to go to it because you'll see they're showing you, here's the results. All you're going to get is they actually had a complete remote code execution. They had who am I in here. Now, it shows here that they actually had a web shell, so they were running directly commands. So at this point, you've been compromised completely as far as on this system. But then you're going to start having to look for, we need to find all of our C2 traffic here, right? So You can see here, once you do this command, basically what you're doing is you're saying, hey, this is the IP and here's the destination IP. Show me all the information or all the transfer of packets. And you're going to see that basically they had a C2 constantly communicating. To be honest with you, you could probably have told that without doing any of this, because at the beginning, if you see a normal logging as an IP showing 3, 4, 5 logs and then one showing 7,000, that discrepancy, something is wrong. Whether it's a C2 server or someone made a mistake and automated something like insane, something's wrong. So very quickly, you could have probably determined that. So then here, volume of data exfil, all we're looking here is to show me this total bytes transferred. And most of these queries are pretty self-explanatory, to be honest with you. So, but you can see 198.55.100. I got that backwards. .51.100.55. Okay, and you can see 126.167. And so again, we're saying stats. We want the sum of all the bytes transferred by source IP. Well, there's only one IP. That's our C2 server. 126.167 bytes. 126.167 bytes. And there you go. And then they have incident handling with Splunk. Thanks. Don't really care about those. Okay, now let's go to 4. AI and security, Old Saint Nick. Okay, so we need to start our attack box. Already got that running here. We can close this. We can close this. We can cancel that. All right, here we go. Close that. Okay, so target machine, we'll start that bad boy off. So what are we doing today? AI assistance. So yes, AI, the buzzword, seems here to stay. Who would have thought? To be honest with you, it's not that surprising, right? AI is increasingly seen as a tool to boost speed by handling tedious tasks. GPT this, GPT that. We've all heard it, and it's likely to persist. Okay, AI and cybersecurity processes large amounts. Okay, what are we doing here? We all know AI. If you want to read about it, you absolutely can. When you're ready, you can access Van Solve It at. Remember, you will need to do so either from the attack box or your own device connected to the VPN. Okay, perfect. So if you're on a small display, recommend expanding the attack box into full screen mode. Perfect. Okay, so ready for an exciting exercise. You'll be interacting with Van Solve. It will guide you through the 3 showcase of how AI can be used in cybersecurity. So this, I actually, if it's what it says it is, I like this a lot. I actually really like this box because they're not saying, hey, beat AI, hey, do this. Like, they are saying, let us show you some ways that this can help you. And I like that. I think that, to me, throwing that in there just shows awareness of the fact that if you did an AI CTF like Gandalf or Lakira AI, whatever it's called, if you did that here, would it be fun? Sure. But you're adding more value by actually doing what you're doing, because more people will gain from what you're trying to do. So it shows me the awareness of that, I guess, if you will. So this interactive lab will showcase how AI can be used across 3 areas of cybersecurity: red team, blue team, software security. Okay, cool. When you're ready, click the complete stage to continue button on the left. Okay. One thing I will tell you is based on this interface was built by AI, because this is standard. If you ask AI to build you an interface, this is what it looks like. Okay, welcome to Red Team Showcase. I can help you generate Python scripts for vulnerabilities within the web application of today's advent of cyber. Shall we begin? I guess we say yes. Okay. This is going to be interesting because I didn't read it, so I don't know if there's something I'm supposed to be asking it. One thing I will say too is they obviously are generalizing here with AI, like they're giving you a generalized bot. Obviously they say it's llama, but most of the time if you're using AI for cybersecurity, you have it in API integration, or hopefully if you're doing it for a company or something, you have a closed model, something safe. The other thing I will say is when you're using AI, this is one of the slowest AIs in the world right now, apparently. But when you're using AI, make sure 1000%, you are validating and verifying, and you have enough fundamentals for coding and things like that that you can determine if that coding is accurate and or safe and secure. Because if it's not, I'm telling you, I've seen it already with AI. I've seen people getting in trouble at companies and things. I've seen companies getting in trouble, getting sued because they're using AI to generate things, and the AI itself can make wrong assumptions and do and hallucinate and make incorrect things and give you vulnerable packages and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. List goes on and on. So make sure you're aware of that, right? So the vulnerability exists because the SQL injection attack exploits. Okay. Type nano script.py and paste the Python script into it. This setup allows students. Okay, am I supposed to actually do this? Because I don't. Okay, I'm assuming they're just showing you because there's nothing to do here, but you can see they're just showing you a basic SQL injection. Username equals Alice or 1 equals 1, the oldest test in the world, password test, URL to vulnerable login page, set up the payload, username, password, okay. Send post request to the login page. So this is like just the most basic, simple 1 equals 1 SQL injection. So, okay. So I guess you just say complete, like that's it. Okay. Interesting. Let's solve this stage together. You can ask me to analyze an example set of logs for the attack we just performed. Okay. Analyze the logs, I guess. There's no logs. I don't have any logs. So, this is another thing that I'm seeing people not doing correctly. So be cautious. Is they're using AI to analyze logs, which is fine. But then AI doesn't know your environment, doesn't know who should be doing what should be happening. So it's often incorrect. And so don't be like false positive. AI said this is what's going on, because a lot of times if it doesn't know, it makes it up. And when it makes it up, it's wrong. So you end up in a very bad situation, because how do you explain to a company that just got breached that, oh, we got breached because I used AI to analyze? Well, okay, then what am I hiring you for? So understand that's the caveat with this, right? If AI can analyze the logs and your job is log analysis, what are you doing? Hopefully you're adding that contextual value that the AI can't do. Okay, log entry. Okay. Okay, so they're analyzing the log of the attack that we just saw, which is username Alice or 1 equals 1. Okay, the user is logged in via blah blah, and the attack occurred on da da da. The request was to log in PHP, which is common login endpoint. The username parameters include a SQL injection attempt. So again, make sure you're validating all this. Okay, cool. So they can create blue team stuff. I can help you identify vulnerabilities in source code. Yes, begin. I gotta be honest with you, I am extremely underwhelmed with this box. I was actually excited. You guys heard me. I said I think this is a great value. Nothing in this has added value to anybody. I don't think anybody that's ever used AI in their life didn't know that it can create you a little Python script this big, and didn't know that you can put a log in there and it will go, here's what I think's happening. I think everybody thought that. These are really, really bad use cases. They could have gone really cool with this, made this so entertaining and interesting, and made people go, wow, I never thought of using AI like that. Instead, they went with, here's the most basic, simple thing in the world, and we got lazy on the AI piece. That's what it felt like. It also, I'm not gonna, this is me all, you guys know I just try to be real and honest. I'm not trying to hate on TryHackMe. I like TryHackMe. Half my channels TryHackMe, like you guys know that. But this feels like we didn't have an AI person, and so we gave our other people, this task, and they came up with something. Like that's what it feels like. So review of source code. This code uses to get the value of username password variables, but does not validate or sanitize the input. Thanks, guys. Go to OWASP top 10. This is not useful. All right, complete the showcase. Wait, please interact with the AI in the following stages. Blue team. Okay. Let me see what this is doing first. It says completed. I don't know. Okay, if you're ready to move on, please click complete showcase. I'm confused. Okay, I was in the blue team. What's going on? Thank you. Like, it was already there. It did it. I'm so confused. So now I have to wait for this AI to do this again. Hopefully you guys aren't having this much like trouble just getting it done, because that's one thing that I think like you guys should be able to just do this. Like, I've been seeing a lot on Reddit and stuff that people are having issues with the AOC. The only issue I had is like servers being slow and struggling with like connecting, and I had that issue right at the beginning, but like I haven't had that issue since. So hopefully this is not something that we're okay. It says okay. Why can't I close it? Okay. Please, by pressing, was the flag presented to you? Execute the exploit provided by the red team against the vulnerable web. What? Oh my god, that's so annoying. Okay, so let's go to the red team. It's so annoying that we have to do this. Let's go ahead and say right, and then what was the IP? There we go. It's really annoying that we have to do this. Not gonna lie to you. It's only annoying because it's such a simple task that isn't like nobody's learning anything because you did this, right? So we'll just say save as. Let's do it under downloads, doesn't matter. Save. CD downloads. I know it's small. It doesn't matter. You guys aren't going to miss anything. Python 3 import requests. Of course, I need to make it executable. Okay. Okay, of course. Oh, there it is. It was there. TryHackMe SQLi exploit. So I'll make it bigger for you guys just so you can see the flag, but SQLi exploit. I don't know what to do with this one. The band solve it or whatever is yeah, I am. I can't move on to the next stage. It keeps saying I need to interact with blue team even though I completed it. Fix it. Okay. Complete the AI showcase. Was the flag presented to you? If we have to, I will actually. It's faster. We'll just do this. Okay. Just give me the flag so we can get past this. Nothing about this is realistic. This is the problem that a lot of, I will just say this is a problem that a ton of students and people, and this, I'm just going to say it's pissing me off because this is the problem, right? You are coming together. Yes, you have to teach fundamentals, but you're not teaching fundamentals of SQL or SQL injection, or you're teaching something that is so outdated. 1 = 1 has been around forever. Yes, everybody knows it, right? but you're using AI, for instance, and you're saying, look at the value, right? But you're not actually teaching anything. And so what you're doing is you're adding filler content and you're telling students and young people that are trying to get into this that they know how to use AI now and they're skilled because they can have AI create. And then they go to a job and they go, here's what I can do. Here's the value I bring. And that job goes, yeah, we're good. We don't need that. That's stupid. And they don't say that out loud, but that's what they're thinking is you're not skilled. Nobody's ever told you you're not skilled. And that's just what's happening. Stop. This isn't, I hate to be this person, to be the old guy, but this isn't participation trophy here, right? Cybersecurity is hard. If you want to be good at it, you have to dedicate time and effort and be good at it. You cannot just do the bare minimum basics like they're doing here and say, oh, you're good at cyber. And it's driving me nuts that they're treating it that way because they're not doing anyone any justice and they're actually kind of insulting the craft a little bit, in my opinion. And I know that I'm a little harsh on this one, but that's because this could have been so good and you really could have showcased some things that could have helped. And instead they went the easy, lazy route. And that irritates me. All right, AI Mania. There we go. There's your stupid. Thank you. So I had to tell the AI that I was completed. It gave it to me, but I had to tell it that it was completed. And I had to go watch your video to try and get it because your AI couldn't even complete it. All right. Rant over. Okay. Last one, IDOR, right? Indirect object reference. That's what it stands for. We're going to, thank you. Get rid of that. We're going to go ahead and hop into it. Do we need the attack box? Yes. Do we need our VM? Yes. So let's start the machine. We got our attack box going. Let's go ahead and close that. Let's go ahead and close that. All right. There we go. Okay, it's dangerously obvious, really. Have you ever seen a link that looks like this? Yes. When you saw the link, have you ever wondered what would happen if you simply change package ID 11 to 12? Yes. Okay. So when you saw this, insecure direct object reference. So I was off a little bit. I didn't add the direct, right? But basically, hey, you are directly referencing something. If you don't secure that, I can change it, right? I can change that from, this is a very old school attack as well. Like it used to be like admin equals 1, or so then like the username, this would be like user ID, and you would log in and your user ID is like 5006, and you could change it to 1 because 1 would be the first person that set up the account, which would be admin, right? That's kind of what they're talking about here. All right, so iterate digits, observe response. Okay. So we need to authenticate here. This is what it looks like anyway, so we'll copy that. There we go. And the Niles, I'm not really sure how to say that. The password is TryHackMe #2025. Hopefully I got that right. Okay, so we're in, right? This is our dashboard. Let's start by using the developer tools on the browser to better understand what's happening. We don't really have to. Let's just go to the next thing that they're saying. Yes, so we see they're just gonna have us do it, I guess. So we'll just inspect it. Okay. And you can see we're inspecting it, and we'll go to, let me make this a little bigger. I know you guys can't see the right side of my screen. I'll fix that. Okay, we will reload it. We went to network tab, we reloaded it. You can see here, here's our user ID equals 10, right? So if we change that, oh, didn't mean to click that. There you go. And we'll say, let's just say user ID equals 1, right? Doesn't really matter, but you get the gist of it, right? Let's take a closer look. View account info. User ID equals 10. And the above image, we can see the user ID with the value of 10 was used for the request. If we click and expand the response tab, we see the user ID corresponds to our user. Makes sense, right? So if what they're saying is the responses over here, it would actually, and let me move this real quick for you guys. The response over here matches our user ID. That's what they're saying. Makes sense, right? So this tells us the application is using our user ID as the reference. Awesome. Let's see what happens when we change this. So navigate to the storage tab. So this is where you store your cookies, stuff like that, right? And we'll say no data for that. No data for that. Okay, there's user ID right there. So we'll just change user ID to, in this case, we can change it to whatever, but change it to 11, see what happens. So I'm going to change it to 1. The main reason I'm going to change it to 1 is because that's usually the admin. So we'll change it to 1. We'll refresh the page. And you can see, if we go here, right, this is, of course, that's the API, though. I don't want the API. I want the actual, there it is, API parents. Okay, we'll just look at the response, actually. So now when we go to our network tab, and we go here, and we go to our response, parent not found. So the 1 doesn't exist, which is fine. So we'll actually say, I'll actually go back here and change it to 11. I was trying to be cheeky and change it to 1. Didn't do anything. There it is. So we'll change that to 11. There we go. Okay, now we'll refresh this. Oh, I refreshed the whole VM, my bad. Now we'll refresh this, and you can see we're at email test.test. We were at Neil, so we changed our user, right? Sometimes IDOR may not be as simple as just a number, and certain encoding may have been used. Yes, on the loaded profile, click the eye icon next to the first child as shown on the thing. Okay, so do we have to go back then? Is that what you're saying? So here they're saying they are, when they would go to 11, they're Bilbo over here, whatever. The eye icon. Gotcha. Okay, so then they're going, simply put, the MG is just the base 64 encoded version of the number 2. So they're saying, hey, it looks like nothing, but it's actually base 64 encoded. Anytime you see a double equal sign, it's almost always base 64 encoded. It's how base 64 handles basically space. So just know that if it ends with the double equal sign, it's almost always. But on the flip side of that, base 64 does not always end on a double equal sign. I'm just telling you, it's pretty common if you see it. Okay, so then you can see here in digest, encoding isn't the only thing that objects can use to hide potential IDOR. Sometimes the values may look like a hash, such as MD5. If you want to see what one would look like, take a request, click the edit icon next to the child, and you can see it. There you go. It's deterministic, obviously reproducible. So sometimes you have to dig quite deep for IDOR. Sometimes IDOR is not as clear. Sometimes it stems from the actual algorithm being used. So what they're saying by this is sometimes it's a sequential thing. Like it's like, hey, 1, 2, 3, but like with algorithms. So it's obviously not 1, 2, 3. It's just much more complex. But you can predict it, which means I can predict the next one in the line, right? That's what they're kind of saying, is it's deterministic. So I can reproduce it if I know how to do that, right? What does IDOR stand for? Indirect. Why do I keep saying indirect? I don't think that's right, and I keep saying that. Let's see. There we go. Scroll down. Insecure direct object. I don't know why I keep saying indirect. Insecure direct object reference. What type of privilege escalation are most IDOR cases? Not sure what they're asking here. What type of privilege escalation? Okay, so while these look completely random, we can see that the UUID version 1 was used. the issue with UUID 1 is that we know the exact date when the code was generated. We can recover the UUID. For example, suppose we know the L's always generate vouchers between 20 and 21. In that case, we can create UIDs for the entire time period, in which we would have a brute force attack, and we could just spray it at there, right? So I'm trying to find where they're saying what type of privilege escalation it is. Let's see. And IDOR is the IDOR vulnerability itself is not complex. It is, like they said, identifying the repeatability and using that against it. Generate digits, observe responses. Let's start with the simplest. Okay. There we go. This refers to. Okay. Horizontal. Okay. So horizontal privilege escalation. Explain the IDOR found in the view accounts parameter. What is the user ID of the parent that has 10 children? Okay, so we've got to find the parent that has 10 children. Okay, well, and by the way, I would not normally do it this way, but I would normally do it with burp suite, but we'll just keep checking. So test. Okay, so these are still test accounts. We're going to go back down. We're going to go to 9 instead of, if you can't tell, I'm changing 12 to, because I know it's small. I changed it to 12, sorry. So I'm going to go to 9 now. Now the question is it 0, 9 or 9? We'll say enter. Okay, so we'll go back. It might still kick me out, actually, because... come on, dude. There you go. Go forward. Local storage. We'll see if it still stores it. Okay, so we got to log back in as Neil. Neil or Nile. TryHackMe. Hashtag 2025. Bad credentials. Let's see. Kicked me out here. Where's Niles? Excuse me. Okay. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 children, quote unquote, right? So I did 0, 9. So let's try 9. Okay. So this is NA, Tinus. And like I said, again, I would use Burp Suite and something like Repeater to do this, or an actual payload, but we'll just keep doing it and see. Okay, that's none. That's Aaron, but we're at least getting there. 7. None. Okay. Nobody has children here. Dave at webmail. Okay. At least have some of them have kids. Okay. Carol doesn't have any kids. For some reason, I think it's 5. I think that's what they would do. Nope. That's Bob. He doesn't have any kids. Okay, we got Alice. 1, 2, 3. Getting closer. If it's like 2, I'm going to be pissed. No children here. Okay, and I did 12, so. No children there. Okay, so let's go to 13. I'm not going to do this manually for very long, I'll tell you that. Also, what was even the question? Like, was it what number? Let's just do 10. See if that works. Nope. Okay. User ID. Okay, so let's brute force this. 14, 15. Oh my god, they figured that out too. Okay. So I have to actually do it. So we'll say 15. We know it wasn't 14 because I tried that and it gave me the failed. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's 15, which was the next number I checked. Okay. So, bonus task. If you want to dive deeper, there you go. You can do that. You can do that. You can do that. Perfect. Idor is a very easy room. Thanks. All right. I'm going to do the next 5 in the next video, but I wanted to get this to you guys so that we can do them in chunks, hopefully help you guys. None of these are complex as far as like they kind of give you the instructions. They would be complex if you'd never done them, but they're giving you step-by-step guides. So hopefully that helps you guys. I think they did so far. I don't dislike them. I think they're decent introductions to some of these concepts. So I think that's really nice. But yeah, for the most part, we're just gonna keep going with them and try and knock them out for you guys. And again, I'll try and do them in chunks so that you can just run through them if that's all you care about. If you want to learn them, you'll go through them and learn them yourself. Like that's part of, if you like it, you'll do it. So hopefully this helps you guys, and hopefully you guys have a great day. Thanks.